Super League for a Super Friday, and it's a fantastic match from the Engage Super League. St Helens against the Leeds Rhinos. Saints in 4th, Leeds in 5th. Leeds will have few complaints about facing St Helens here. They haven't won an away fixture against Saints since March 2008 on a foul night at the old Knowsley Road. Saints had Lee Gaskell and Johnny Lomax back for last week at Crusaders. They continue their partnership here. Tommy Makinson is in for the injured A.D. Gardner. There's just one change up front, where Tony Pulatua is fit to return after missing the last 4. He takes the place of Sean McGuinness, who drops to the bench. Where there's no Josh Perry, he failed to overturn his one-match ban when he made his appeal. Now, the Leeds Rhinos, they make significant changes after last week's heavy defeat against Warrington. Brent Webb is fit to return at full-back. That allows Lee Smith to move forwards to cover for the injured Keith Senior, and Danny Maguire plays at standoff alongside Rob Burrow for the first time this season. Means that Kevin Sinfield can move back to his usual position of loose forward. Ironic, as that's come in the same week as him being earmarked for the standoff role for England against the Exiles next Friday. Ali Lautiti drops to the bench, where Paul McShane is missing, or is back rather, after missing out last week. Well, there is the Leeds Rhinos coach, Brian McDermott. He's seeking his 60th win as a Super League coach. He's Leeds' 7th coach of the Super League era, the second Englishman to hold the position. And his team, the 6-match winning run, came to a halt last Friday when Warrington beat them at Headingley. And that was their 3rd worst home defeat in the summer era. The worry for them is that they have yet to beat any of the 4 teams currently standing above them on the league table. They did draw against Wigan at Headingley on April the 1st, and that was the closest they have come. But they look in determined mood to put the right, or rather the wrongs right, of the past 7 days. St Helens only 2 defeats in the last 12. They'll fancy themselves to record a home and away double over the Rhinos for the first time since 2006. Eddie Gardner's got that Achilles tendon injury, the latest blow to hit them. He hopes to be back by the playoffs, but it's doubtful. But they do continue to defy the odds as they chase a place in a 6th consecutive grand final. Their season turned around with the 30-16 win at Headingley on the 19th of March. They had just 2 wins from the first 5, and they'd lost 2 in a row here at their temporary home for 2011. That was against Warrington and Harlequins. And look at that, the line there of players: Josh Perry, Leon Price, A.D. Gardner, and Chris Flannery was there as well. What expensive players are sitting in the stand for St Helens, watching on this glorious summer's evening. Summer has arrived. It's in full bloom in the first Friday we're bringing you in June. Phil Bentham's the big match referee. Sinfield gets us underway. It's a mouth-watering match.
Certainly is, Eddie, and I'm sure that both coaches realise they've got to be ruthless in the opening 5-10 minutes. Put a stamp on their authority and make sure they get right into the ribs. You mentioned so many of those class players missing tonight, but Leeds will not be lulled into false sense of feeling about that it's a poor outfit, because it's not. It's still got plenty of quality out there in the St Helens colours.
Wilkin is one of them, Roby's another, Graham is another. It's a formidable St Helens side despite the recent injuries. The injury problems are easing, but then they lose A.D. Gardner to his Achilles tendon, and then Josh Perry is suspended, and that hasn't gone too well down round these parts, let me tell you. And the referee wiping, no, he hasn't wiped the tackle count clear. It is still the last tackle, and Paul Wellens is caught in possession for the Saints. There's a slight misread of the script there.
Yeah, confusion reigned. Not the best kick, was it? Ricocheted away, and the ball played the man. That's the reason why Phil Bentham has said it hasn't got back to another set of 6. Good position now for the Rhinos.
Straight up, James, straight up, come on.
Good to see Sean McRae back with us and in full harness. Lovely to see you, old fella.
Thank you very much, Eddie. It's lovely to be back and to be here tonight with 2 fantastic sides. We've already seen some lateral play Terrific hands. It's a great night for rugby league. Terrific conditions, and I'm sure we're going to see some real open-style rugby league played here tonight.
Maguire bullets the pass into centre field to Danny Badiris. He goes down. Luluwai is the dummy half, therefore. This is Burrow. Burrow gets it away to Jamie Jones-Buchanan, screams it forward from the terraces. The referee has none of it, holds up the hand. It's the last tackle here. It comes back to Sinfield. He'll dab a little kick in. It wasn't the best. And Wellens, almost a half break. It was lucky for Leeds that Luluwai was awake to the danger. Wilkin now is grounded.
Well, that was a surprise little move there by Kevin Sinfield. It was a very poor kick. Really just sort of a half-hearted situation, trying to stab it towards the sticks, but great positioning there by Paul Wellens.
Yeah, I think the key there, Mike, was the positioning of Paul Wellens was first class. He read Sinfield's kick, got on the front foot.
The kick over the top was from Johnny Lomax, and it's picked up by Ryan Hall. Notice that Brent Webb is he's on the far side of the field. He's come back now. But he's got a very heavy bandage on his right thigh.
Hold 10, James. Hold.
There he is. He's in at dummy half now, is Brent Webb. He gets the ball away to Lee Smith.
Move. Wait, go. Not square, Louis.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan, the surprise inclusion in the England squad. Originally left out of the elite group, but he's forced his way back into the reckoning of Steve McNamara. Here's the last tackle for Leeds. The kick from Burrow will turn them around. It's a lovely kick too.
It's a belter.
And Wellens has to run this ball out if he can, and he's trapped in goal, is he? No, he got the ball over the line.
That was an amazing feat by the fullback. Boy, pretty strong defence from the Rhinos. Look at that. Was it a high shot? See how he got the ball up? He took a huge risk. That could have ricocheted away. Could have been a gift for the Leeds side.
This is tremendous defence from the Rhinos that we're watching here. Graham putting his shoulder to the wheel. Gets them over the 10-metre mark, but look, 4 tackles gone already. Here's Lomax. Trying to get away from those two. Ablett, though, and Delaney get him his tackle. Just 14 metres further progress. And a kick in that lands just inside the Leeds half of the field. The chase is good, though. Soliola leading the way.
Oh, fantastic shoulder there into the fullback. He would have felt that as well. Wasn't a bad kick either from Wilkin under the position that he was in.
No square, see him.
What a challenge from Sia Soliola on Brent Webb, a man that, of course, he could be a teammate of next week in the Exiles. Oh, that's a missed tackle by Lomax. Ablett stepped through. Awful play the ball, but they're saying that, or at least Bentham's saying that Wilkin was all over the back of the grounded player, Carl Ablett.
Well, Ablett was trying to get it to his feet as quickly as possible. You see it there. Now, did he place the ball down before he raised to his feet? That could have gone the other way. Wilkin goes to him. Well, I thought you had to regain your feet before you put the ball down.
Well, I'm going to give the referee a bit of credit here, because I think that that's one of those ones where we look at and say that's a 50-50 call. But for me, it was an offensive win from Ablett. Therefore, he's entitled to get up and play the ball. John Wilkin has to release and get out of the way. I think that's a fair call.
Interesting here that Kevin Sinfield has elected to kick for goal. Brian, is that a good decision?
Well, I think they've won the arm wrestle in the first couple of minutes. They kicked really well. Saints held their nerve for 5 plays and only made 15 metres. That's why Wilkin kicked off the back foot. Leeds got field position. I probably would have played on because they're in the ascendancy and they've got a bit of field position, but you can completely understand why Kevin Sinfield's kicking the goal here.
And he does kick the goal. Leeds Rhinos have a 2-point advantage early, courtesy of the boot of the skipper. St Helens 0, Leeds Rhinos 2. And Roy Simmons sitting up there alongside Kieran Patil, and it looks like the home movie is on the situation there, doesn't it?
Be a bit more than a home movie.
On a
I can
night
tell you
when
later
we've got 3D cameras, look what we've just featured there.
We've got all sorts of Ds going on. But look, I agree with Brian. It was a right decision. I think this could be a shootout tonight between Kevin Sinfield and Jamie Foster as well. Both kickers in great form. We always talk about matchups with players, about hooker v hooker, halfbacks v halfbacks, fullback on fullback, all the clashes up front. But sometimes the skill of goal kicking is neglected. Now there's an example. What a great kick-off by Jamie Foster.
Sensational kick-off, and it was also into the sun that is setting behind the way to our right. Almost a complete porridge between Hall and his colleague there.
Well, no one shouted. Lack of communication could have gifted Saints the possession just a couple of meters away from their own goal line. Not one word was said between the two.
Webb and Peacock. Peacock, the England captain. Webb for the Exiles next week. And, of course, Badiris going in quickly there at dummy half. He's the captain of the Exiles. It's mate against mate in the international origin, all right, next weekend. Next Friday. Week tonight we'll be there. Burrow. That was not played at, says the referee. Maguire flicks the ball on, but it's well picked up by Makinson. But no, a knock on, says the referee.
Well, he's confused as a youngster. It was a good charge down. Took an eternity to get the ball away and therefore put themselves under a lot of pressure. Yeah, he just lost it slightly. He's claiming to the official that he was facing his own stick. Doesn't matter. Just dribbled forward slightly.
It's a good start by the Rhinos, though, for all of that. Here is Delaney.
Well, that's the sort of confidence that they need to build upon. They realised they weren't all that crash hot against the Wolves last week. Well, that's a penalty. It's reached away. Saints fans don't like it, but the officials got it spot on.
Well, it's a similar sort of area that Sinfield kicked from just a few moments ago. Will he have another go?
You could see that Francis Melly was the culprit, and why not? I'd take the two.
There's no reason not to if you had a kick at goal last time.
They're going to go in the corner.
I find that staggering.
Well, they fancy their chances. No signal from Brian McDermott, leaving it to the players. This is Ablett now.
Move!
And that is fair play if he's doing that, because we've talked about the confidence.
Burrow gets the ball away, and there's a great scream of forward from the terraces. Here is Peacock now, trying to force his way over the line. He's held up about 1.5 meters short. And Badiris, short ball. Lulawai trying to burrow his way over. The ball went backwards. I think that was touched actually by Graham. They give it some width anyway. Here is Lee Smith. And Lee Smith is over the touch and goal line.
Try. He's got to go upstairs because it's so close. But I think they've stopped him. I think when he plonks the ball down Smith, it's on the white line.
It's great work from Lee Gaskell if it is turned down this.
Nice little dummy.
He's lost it anyway.
Lost it anyway, yeah. And it's always good to see the referee, if they're in any doubt, go upstairs. Steve Ganson, the video ref tonight. Just trying to find out how to restart the game. Has Smith lost control of it? Yes, he has. No hand from Wellens. Very good work by Lee Gaskell to get across, get his body into it. This should be no try.
20-meter restart, and that's what it is. Good work from Gaskell.
It just takes me back to the decision to take a goal kick or not. If it was right the first time to take two, surely it was right the second time. So I would have played on the first occasion, and I think the decision was right to play on then. Test the St. Helens line.
They've tested it, and Gaskell has come up with the goods for St. Helens. Roby waits, gives it to Graham. Is it me, or has this game all been played in the right-hand side of the field so far tonight? It's going to be played on a bit more in the right-hand side of the field.
He's pulled it back
for a knock-on by Leeds, it must be.
Yeah. And very fortunate there. You see it's Badiris. I'm not so sure that Badiris did touch it. That's interesting. Is there one here? No. I'm not so sure that Badiris got a hand to that.
You're right in what you're saying, Eddie. There's been a total domination here from Leeds in terms of territory, in terms of possession, and perhaps that was the reason why they decided not to go for the 2 points. And maybe they just felt sometimes players get that feeling, you're on top, we're going to score, and they didn't quite take advantage of that.
Graham drives it in again, this time halted by Delaney. Now then, St. Helens, 2 tackles gone, they're 30 metres away. Lomax has the ball, fires the pass to Gaskell. They play together at junior level, these two, Gaskell and Lomax. Here he is again, Lomax gets the pass away, and Soliola trying to spin away from the tackles, can't do so. Roby, Tua, New 2-year deal in the bank for Tony Pullatua. Rumours abounding that Warrington were after him. They moved quickly to secure his services. He's here for 2 more years. This is Wilkin, stabs it in. Played at, and Foster didn't get the call until it was too late.
Pretty difficult though, it ricochets around. Couldn't do anything about that. Got to get their defence sorted and in one line now. But they are so confident of the visitors. Rhinos looking good.
Hold.
First appearance on this ground since 2005 when Widnes were last in the Super League. Of course, Leeds and St Helens will be coming back here for the next 3 years at least, now that the Vikings have won a Super League licence.
Hold. Go.
11 minutes gone here in a glorious summer's evening as Sinfield just clips the ball behind the defence and is picked up here by Tommy Makinson. Goes to ground quickly.
It's got to be a penalty. Silly play. Now Delaney, well, has been marked another 10.
It's Maguire who has had a word out of turn.
But I was just saying, Delaney there, he didn't get off it. Look, you still hold of him. I mean, you've got to give a penalty away.
I think what Maguire was complaining about is that the St Helens player dove for the ground and caught him on the knee. He almost surrendered to the tackle before it even came in, and Maguire got a bang as a result of that. He wasn't happy with that. Had a word with the referee, Mr. Bentham, and was marched back 10 metres further forward. Great rule, that. Other sports should really take notice. This is James Graham. Roby's waiting for St Helens. The runner is Lomax. He'll attack the line. He'll give the ball then to Wellens, who slips the net. Here is Melly. Melly was on his way to the sideline, did well to change direction and hit the deck then.
Good sliding defence from Leeds. There's a beautiful offload there, but they were too strong for Melly.
Pullatua.
Got to run on the angle now.
Bang in front of the sticks, 9 metres out, last tackle, Roby. Back it comes to Lomax, he stabs the kick in. It's well picked up by Brent Webb. It bounced off an ankle of the Leeds Rhinos. Now set to try and apply the pressure.
And again, great positioning by the fullback. We saw it earlier from, we saw it on that occasion, Brent Webb. It's all about trying to read it, and even though it was a ricochet, it was in thereabouts.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan missed a flying tackle. Warrington off to a great start at Crusaders. They lead 12-0.
I must say, this game, it's pretty warm out there, but it's at a ferocious pace.
It is. The last tackle here. And Maguire has gone for the kick. He was looking towards the touchline, but didn't quite get his angle right. It's a great kick nonetheless. Wellens right underneath his own sticks, has to run it back. Showed it to Jamie Foster. Lomax has come back to help out. Zach Hardacre gets a good tackle in. Two great young players there, 19, Zach Hardacre, and Lomax, only 20. Men for the future.
They're going to need some help here, St Helens. I just watched James Graham, Tony Pullatua, Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook, and Sears Solel all walk back after that set of 6. So you can see the James Graham's now going to take a hit up, but it's taken about 4 plays before they can get back. So it indicates fatigue. It indicates they need a little bit of a rest. So they need to make sure they get to the kick, which is now, get well down the field and apply some pressure. That could be a 40-20.
Brilliant kick.
It is a 40-20. Magnificent kick from Lee Gaskell.
40-20.
Outstanding kick from young Gaskell on his 11th appearance of 2011. One of the discoveries of this year.
Wonderful position, and the swing of the right boot is sufficient. And you know, you got to put that down to good work by James Graham. He took them on, quickly played the ball. He didn't give Leeds any chance to apply pressure to that youngster.
He's only the second player to kick a 40-20 for St Helens this year. Lee Gaskell. John Wilkin has kicked 2 others earlier in the season. Going down the short side with Roby here.
Move!
Burrow all over him.
No, it's caught it.
This is Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook. Good drive to the line from the prop forward. Move from Harlequins, hoping to get international recognition. Hasn't got it this week. Maybe in the future. Another good drive for the line by young Gaskell, who started all this. Leeds defence stands firm, but 3 tackles still in the bag. They give it some air and find Lomax. Though from Badiris and then Ablett.
Helens is lining up, but they've gone the other way.
Graham gets the ball away to Pulatua. Burrow calling for reinforcements down the right. That's the way they're going. Gaskell slides the kick in. What a try if it's given! It's Shenton. If it's given, it's a tremendous try from Michael Shenton. But that's the big question mark. It's gone upstairs again to Steve Ganson. He's not out of the field of play, but did he bounce it? Did he keep control? They're checking the onside offside first.
That's okay. Then it's a build-up. Lost it. No try. Could not control it. This will confirm it as well. There's the daylight. No downward pressure. No try. Good build-up. Nice kick. Poor result.
Well, that's both sides have been denied a try because of the grounding. Shenton, the latest. Smith for Leeds earlier.
Yeah, this game's a game, isn't it, of sometimes missed opportunities and taken opportunities. St Helens took the opportunity when I thought they were looking tired to get a 40-20, a great kick by Lee Gaskell, and then to back that up and apply more pressure and just failed to execute their plan and score a try. Just eases a little bit of pressure, and Leeds now are able to work the ball back up the field and have their opportunity of building some pressure.
Maguire finds Webb. He flicks it back to Peacock. There are three there in attendance in white jerseys of St Helens. Badiris goes centre field and finds Burrow. Wide then to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Here is Smith. Watched all the way though. Last tackle here for Leeds. Still over 30 metres away from the line. Oh, and it's not Brent Webb's job usually to do the kicking. Didn't get a bad one away though. But it does run dead.
Well, Brian McDermott, the Leeds coach, will be a little bit upset with that because they've got so many kickers, Brian, that they should have somebody there to take it.
Well, in these conditions as well, they should be keeping it in field. And the relevant point about the 40-20 is these conditions, we all talk, coaches talk action. When it's warm and when it's hot, you want as much ball as you can possibly have and don't give it away for free. There with that kind of kick.
Here comes Soliola again. Notice that number 16, Ryan Bailey, has come on for the Leeds Rhinos. Salford ahead 8-6 against Wakefield. Last time we heard Warrington 12 up at Wrexham. Here, Leeds just ahead 2-0. But Saints coming forward with Helens again. He finds Melly. Maguire stood his ground well. He gets the ball away, smuggles it away somehow, as does Helens to Wilkin. Oh, and the tackle is then missed by Delaney. Here's the last tackle.
Good juggling hands there from Wilkin. Got to be high. Surely they haven't tried the bomb. They're going for the power. No, here it comes. Oh boy, that's high.
It is, and it's rising to the sunshine. Delaney does well though.
Move! Back up, back up.
Well, the take was unorthodox, but effective.
Get the impression this was a fairly useful toss to win tonight. Choose the ends, and Leeds defending with the sun in their eyes in this first half. There's no sun in the eyes there, though. Lee Smith was in the shadows.
Pressure, lack of coordination. He knew it was going, just had a little glance at the oncoming traffic. That's sufficient. Great opportunity now for Saints.
Lee Smith operating in the centres. He's featured 5 in a row. Last 3 at full-back. Might have a lot of work to do in the centres with Keith Senior out for the rest of the season. Shenton taking him on and taking on Ryan Hall. Taking the tackle as well. Here is Roby. Now Soliola. Good leg drive from Soliola. Gets St Helens over the 10-metre mark. Roby is there again. Will have a little scamper. Finds Gaskell. Gaskell is wound in by Ablett. Roby scheming, looking one way and the other.
Good tackle by Badiris, had to be as well.
Excellent tackle because McGuinness was hunting. Roby, Gaskell. Can he get the ball away? He's trying to, but he better hang on to it going backwards. Here's Roby, they go down the short side again. Gaskell. Good tackle there by Ryan Hall on Makinson.
Not so sure that was Royce Simmons may be agreeing with me. Doing the power play on the last when could see that the kick was putting a lot of pressure on. Maybe a dink into the in-goal area would have been better.
Well, 3-on-3 down a short side is probably not the right option in that situation. I think he was trying to catch Ryan Hall infield a little bit and maybe turning his shoulders in. It just didn't happen. Ryan Hall defended it very well. I think it's been a terrific game defensively so far by both sides. They've defended their lines extremely well. I'm talking about their try line, of course, they've defended, and it really hasn't opened up. It's not been allowed to open up because both sides are getting back, getting set. They're working hard on the floor. It's moving off. The contact's very, very good. And so far, it's a very, very even match after 20 minutes.
Crusaders with the points on the board against Warrington at Wrexham. Here is Brent Webb. They go wide to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. And Ryan Hall ran into touch. Had to stretch forward to pick up the pass.
Well, there's a hint of a forward there, Eddie. And looked as though he was going. This is the one that appeared to be forward. You can see how he's trying to flick it. Ball played the man, so it will be head and feet to Saints.
Knew where he was going, didn't he? So he tried to flick the ball back inside Ryan Hall.
Not much scoring, but that's brought about by what we've already discussed in that both sides pretty strong in defence. This is where the kicking game's so important. Maybe we'll be looking for another 40-20, but they won't need it. They've won the play.
Roby has seen some ground ahead of him, and Roby, I said he's got the legs, he hasn't, and he's flicked the ball inside.
But why panic? Okay, he got clipped, hit the ground, and tries to show an impossible pass. Golden opportunity, great work by the hooker.
Brent Webb did so well then, just flicked him on the ankles, down he went, but he did panic a bit, Roby, there, which is not Roby-esque, but a great chase back by that man Webb, when you consider that his thigh is heavily strapped, and Sinfield's gone for a 40-20 here.
He hasn't got it, but look at the chase. That is applying the pressure.
Gaskell did well to stop that from going over the whitewash. It was on its way. Nakinson, dummy half. Ball field to Scott Moore. He's missed the last 5 more since his substitute appearance against Castleford here on Easter Monday that St Helens just managed to win.
You know what, Eddie? It's not often that it's just one incident a game that can define a match, but I wonder at the end of this game whether we'll look back on that Brent Webb ankle tap and say that was so crucial to Leeds' result in this game.
It's a very important moment so far, there's no doubt. Lomax just stepped over the top of the 40-metre mark, but Zach Hardacre had moved back anyway. Here is Webb again now.
This is a break. Sheer panic. You know there won't be many opportunities throughout this game, but you've got to use your brains a little bit. And I'm afraid the skill factor of James Roby let him down.
Well, after what happened to them last week, I know in the first half it was only 12-6 to Warrington. But what happened to them last week, this is a great confidence booster for the Rhinos, and here is McShane. Maguire again. Referee has got them, St Helens that is, offside. Now will they go for 2 this time?
It'll be interesting, and it appears that there might be a bit of a problem. I think it may be Roby out there that's retrieving treatment.
I think you've got to take the 2 points in this situation. It's such a close game. It's a tight match. 23 minutes, 2-0. This is a gift right in front of the post. I think you've got to take it. He looks like he's in a bit of bother. He was down for a little while, James Roby. Such an inspirational player, such a great player when you look at the meters he's made, the tackles he makes with marker, the runs out of dummy half. They can't afford to lose him, Steve.
Yeah, spot on there, and he'll be a little bit ruffled at the fact that he made that beautiful break. He knows inside that he took the wrong option, tried to offload. Now then, will Mr. Cool add an extra 2?
Well, I think he probably will, but I must say, if he does and makes it 4-0, it makes the second penalty that they had in kicking range even more strange that they didn't kick for goal, because it's 4-0, it would have been 6.
Well, Sean McRae made the point that will it come back to haunt them? Beautiful break, wasn't it? It came from the open side on end, and Webb did well. but not the best finish, was it?
No, and I suspect that ball was called. And I suspect the player on the inside of James Roby there has called it. He wanted him to pop the ball up. The player as gifted as James Roby, 9 times out of 10 will pop that ball up, and that's a try under the post for St Helens. And sometimes you just need that little bit of luck. The other side, you need a couple of things to go your way.
Another high kick-off that goes in between the teams. It's flicked everywhere. It's flicked back to Brent Webb in the end, and Danny Maguire is down and in a spot of trouble. It was a wonderful kick-off. Lautiti stands meanwhile and gives it to Burrow. Here now is Lee Smith. Lee Smith jinking, trying to get between McGuinness and Soliola.
Big problems for Danny Maguire. It was part of that collision. I think it was Wilkin that came through from the kick-off.
Well, he's had a horrific run of injuries, hasn't he? Oh, it's a big collision. Here's Bailey.
Oh, this is dreadful news for the Rhinos. He's trying to get back into the game, but he's limping really, really badly. Oh, good work.
That's Foster.
Now Maguire's going down on the right wing. That's where they'll push him. He reckons he's okay. They've given the thumbs up, but I don't think so. Royce Simmons got to get the message out and come on this side where Maguire is standing.
That's where Roby is going. Didn't quite get to Maguire. Sinfield and Delaney sorted that. Scott Moore gets the ball infield to McGuinness again. Moore again. And Gaskell pops it up for Soliola.
Well, this is where the likes of Wilkins should be running at Maguire. Is in the centres now. Hardacre has gone back onto his wing.
They're running it down this side. Here is Melly. Just puts boot to ball. Play on is the referee's call. Wellens, well tackled by Brent Webb.
It's on the last. Good play. Had to release it. Well, he's not right, is Danny Maguire, and maybe it was the wrong option.
Lautiti to try and work the ball out.
Having looked at the collision again and just watching Wire, I'm pretty confident there's nothing serious there. I suspect it's a dead leg, and I think they're just giving him time to see whether or not he can just run this off and maybe come good. If not, they'll have to get him off the field.
Well, he certainly collided with Wilkin, didn't he, heavily.
Dr. O'Connor is waiting to give us a medical report.
Cheers, Eddie. I'll see you later on in the surgery, but just been told now that Danny Maguire has got a dead leg. He's just asked for 5 minutes from the bench, and if you look at the bench, it is red hot out there. A lot of the players who've come off, they've changed a lot of the forwards. They're absolutely red hot, the sweat pouring off them.
Well, that was a forward pass from Paul McShane, no doubt about that. And, well, Terry O'Connor at ground level telling us it is a dead leg that was spotted up here by Sean McRae. Maybe there's a career for you in the physiotherapy business.
Maybe the consultant to you. I think we might just get a number across the bottom of the screen or something.
We'll do it, don't worry. This is Melly now.
Move! Hold back up.
Roby has a little scamper away, then pops the ball up.
Surrender! Stand!
Well, they wanted to go on the blind side, and that's where they're going. They're going towards Maguire.
Wilkin trying to jink his way through this Leeds defence. Roby, and here is Graham. The runner is Moore. He's still going, and that's good defence from Leeds. There were 3 men, 2 round his ankles, 1 up top, forced back. That's a penalty. You can't push people as they're getting up to play the ball. Now, will Saints take the 2?
Interesting, but I tell you something, Leeds have got away with it because I think they're quite happy to give away 2, but knowing Saints, they'll go for the tap, and they have.
Graham to Wilkin again. Wilkin halted by Paul McShane. Roby gives it to Graham! James Graham for St Helens! No one epitomises the St Helens spirit more than this fellow. Might be off to the Bulldogs in the NRL next year. He injured his sternum against Wakefield in April. He's played on through the pain barrier. And one of the great memories it will be the absolute rollicking he gave his team at Wigan after they lost that match in the last minute over Easter. But Graham right here that levels to score.
When you can see there, Delaney pushes, that's where the penalty goes, and the short pass from James Roby. How many times have we seen that? That flat pass, he twists around. That's great work. Great work. Not happy with the way. Was that slightly forward? I think you might say that it was a 50-50 or maybe a 60-40, depending on who you support.
Oh, I think we might call it a flat pass, mightn't we, Steve-O? But it was good build-up from St Helens. They're a difficult side to stop. I think Leeds have done tremendously well to defend their line. But on this occasion, James Roby actually looks behind James Graham as if he's going to throw the ball out the back. That just momentarily holds Kevin Sinfield and Brett Delaney up. It's a clever play, but one we've seen St Helens score many, many times.
Well, Jamie Foster is gathering a reputation as quite a points scorer. The next goal for him, by the way, and this could be it, would be his 150th in Saints colours. He averages 12 points a game, this young man. And Foster's boot makes it 150 goals for him personally. More importantly on the night, gives Saints the lead. It's 6-4.
Good build-up. The ability of James Graham has applied the pressure to Brian McDermott. He knows they're playing okay. And they've had several forays down into the St Helens danger zone. But it's a 2-point lead now for the home side. And it's the ability of both James Roby. How many times have we seen that? And the way that James Graham, when he gets the ball, he spins. Just spins away. Very difficult to stop.
Hold, go.
Well, they've taken the lead on the half hour or thereabouts, St Helens. Leeds with the 2 penalty goals from Kevin Sinfield. Here's the try scorer for Saints. Gets it away to Scott Moore. Lomax. Incidentally, while Foster was just preparing to take that conversion at goal, I did notice the referee, Phil Bentham, pulling both Kevin Sinfield and James Graham to and issuing quite a what looked like quite a stern lecture. I only caught the back end of it, but I don't know whether there's something that we've failed to notice.
I've seen the energy levels go up and a little bit of feistiness come between the players just before that score, and there's a great opportunity for Phil Bentham to kind of take the pin out of the hand grenade before it starts, because you could see that energy coming forward.
And he's got that right as well, just messing around there. Dixon making a real meal of it. Can't do that. Moore did the right thing. He got out of the way. He didn't.
Andrew Dixon returned from 2 out against the Crusaders last week.
Just a metre off, lads. Hold.
And Leeds on the front foot as the Crusaders come back against Warrington. 12-0. Now Salford extend their lead against Wakefield. 12-0 it was. 10-12 it is at Wrexham. Interesting matches taking place tonight on this, the first hint we've had of summer. Isn't it great to be in a shirt-sleeve crowd? Oh, he gave that away, did Waraharaki. Wonder if there's a call then with a slight Leeds accent from a white jersey.
No, he threw that blind, and it's always a bad option.
Why would you do that, though? That's the point I'm making, unless you hear a call behind you.
Well, what happens, Eddie, sometimes players get very excited. They put themselves in a position where they've taken 2 or 3 on, they're dragging them towards the line. You get a one-arm free and you try a speculative pass. I don't agree with it, but I think it can put you under enormous pressure, turning the ball over on the other team's terms, not yours.
Lomax's kick to get them out of a bit of trouble. They got themselves in there, St Helens. It was on the last tackle. Webb then will run it back. Good hit from Roby. Looks like he shrugged off that bang in the face that he got. Hanging on there also to Zach Hardaker. McShane. Delaney.
Oh, it's a problem there. I think it's Andrew Dixon.
Yes, it is Andrew Dixon, and he's obviously taken a bang.
He went in very awkward into the tackle. Just didn't time it right, didn't get his position, didn't get the head out of the way.
Got the knee of Delaney in the side of his head. I think he's been knocked out a bit there. Well, yes, he's unconscious, isn't he?
Three.
Picture. Fortunately, he's okay now. He's on his haunches, but he's just being told where he is, who he is, and what he's doing.
And what he's got to do.
It's a good thing someone's telling him, because I don't think he'd be able to tell you in that situation. He really did cop a bang there. For anybody watching at home and looking at the textbook, that is not the way to tackle, in terms of he's gone for a left shoulder tackle, which should have been a right shoulder tackle, and the head behind the hip, not in front of the hip. Consequently, paid the price.
Yeah, never put your head forward of the onrushing traffic. Well, let's hope he's okay. He appears to be, but badly shaken is the youngster.
Joey Hayes making sure he's A-OK. Saints physio. I'm going to wait for him to leave the field before they restart the match with this play the ball for Leeds. Burrow and Peacock.
4. Move!
Interesting to see how Rob Burrow is calling the shots out there for most of the time, interspersing with skipper Kevin Sinfield. I just feel that the Rhinos not really having that second phase support play, not all that brilliant.
That's a nice chip over the top. Oh, Zach Hardaker went without it. He was unlucky then. It was a lovely chip over the top by Maguire. It just was up round the neck of Zach Hardaker. Just couldn't take it in. Saints were allowing this to go over the line. They're lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, he got the right bounce, but it just went over his right shoulder. Inventive there by Danny Maguire, and that's what it takes these days.
How about that? Crusaders 16, Warrington 12. 7 minutes to half-time. Bottom leading top. You cannot predict this competition. It's a long way to go yet, but Warrington in red-hot form, and the Crusaders bottom of the table, and they lead Warrington, having conceded a 12-point advantage. It's unbelievable.
Another great kick. They've got the numbers there as well. Look at all those white shirts. Nowhere to go for Brent Webb.
Plays it to Burrow. Here's Lee Smith. Shenton with the tackle.
But have a bit of composure. Don't give away a penalty. And that's what they've done. Some of these players, good kick and chase. What do they do? They just offer the opposition 30-40 metres downfield, Brian.
I think Smith deserves a little bit of credit there, Mike, because he's got on the side of Shenton and made him crawl for the play. So he was always in a position to give a penalty away with Shenton because of Smith's good work. So give a tick to Lee Smith. Yeah,
he drew him into the silliness then, Lee Smith, didn't he? But look where Leeds are now. They're just 15 metres away from the Saints line. Peacock went for Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, who returned the compliment. There's McShane. Back he comes to Sinfield. Sinfield then to Maguire. Maguire gets away. That ball was flicked out wide to Hardaker. Hardaker running back and lateral, but he's looking for the gap that might open up. More saw to it that it wouldn't with Pulatua.
Hold. Go.
McShane. A Burrow. On the bench last week, Rob Burrow, for the first time this season. McShane, the crowd said it was a knock-on. The referee and the touch judge disagreed.
He fumbled it, just got it in time.
Here's McShane again, stabs it to the in-goal area. And it is the young man, Tommy Makinson, to the rescue. Goal line dropout.
Great little dribble through, wasn't it? Makinson, well aware of it.
Great pressure from Leeds, though.
He did well, didn't he? Oh, very well done by Paul McShane. Then the kick through. Okay, there's only 2 points down, but I'm sure that Brian McDermott will be very, very pleased, especially with their defensive effort so far.
Oh, absolutely, and I think that here's an opportunity now. When you've got repeat sets, then it's a great opportunity to, well, not only score, but also to keep the pressure on. Looks like we might have another injury there.
That was another awkward-looking tackle. Scott Moore this time. He got that all wrong as well as Peacock came forward.
Well,
play goes on.
Technique not good there.
McShane! Oh, and he tried to get it away to Sinfield. And is it, who is it there who's just got in it? Is it Roby?
Roby, it
is Roby.
I think you may have got Roby to have a little bit of a little chat. Hey, pass me, and he did. Get out of the way, ref.
He almost gave it to Phil Bentham, didn't he, McShane?
Now that would have been try of the month.
Move!
Well, Scott Moore leaves the field. Dermot is grated.
I'd say furious. Keeper well away from him.
Wait. Go.
Well, about the opportunities
Move.
of the Rhinos to
Leeds.
go over for at least 2 tries.
14's clear.
Gaskell humps the ball downfield. That's a great kick. It turns Brent Webb around. They have to respond with 2.5 minutes to go from deep in their own half of the field. And look at the chase. Keeping it alive, though. No way through for Hardacre, though.
Not so sure that the pass would have helped Brian McDermott with his fury.
2. Move. Wait. Go.
He's dropped off the pace slightly of Leeds.
Peacock
3.
again.
Move. Back up, lads. Hold. Go. 3.
Burrow, every pass that Leeds make now, the crowd are shouting for forward. Burrow is dropped like a rag doll by Tony Pulatua. Last tackle on Delaney, just over the halfway line. McShane, Burrow, left-footed down that line.
Too strong.
Well, we've seen the problems that Saints have had injury-wise. Terry?
Well, Dr. Simon Perrott is going to be busy tonight. This was always going to be a very, very tough physical game. Andrew Dixon, he's been given the go. He's good to go, says the doctor. Tommy Makinson, there's no problem with him. He's just got a bang on his side. And Scott Moore, he's the latest one to come off with concussion. But they're just looking at the bench and they're saying that he should be fine to go soon as well.
Hold, lads. Hold.
Well, they'll be delighted, both sides, for the half-time siren here.
3. Move. Wait. Go. 3. You done with it.
Wilkin again.
Well, this is where Saints have been so dangerous over the years.
Hold.
Just
Go.
to,
No, it was Wellens, I beg your pardon.
so if you get someone just relaxed, the opposition relaxes just before half-time. This should be a high one. Get it up in the air. And here it comes.
It's a bit long, though. It's a bit too far in front. Oh, hang on, the bounce is awful. Webb to the rescue.
Great tackle by Johnny Lomax.
Oh, and he's hurt his shoulder. He's there, feeling the pinch a bit. Maguire.
2. Move. Hold. 10. Hold. Go. 2.
Well, it's a while since the Leeds Rhinos scored a try. They were denied in the second half last week by Warrington. They haven't crossed the whitewash here in the first half against the Saints.
Good kicking early. Could see that the fullback Wellens out of position, and the chase is damn good as well. Good work by Burrow there.
Yes, Wellens trying to get away from Rob Burrow. Helped out by Ryan Bailey. That tackle's completed. That's the first half done and dusted. Roy Simmons' men lead at half-time, courtesy of James Graham try and Foster's goal. We've had 2 penalty goals from Kevin Sinfield. Nothing to choose between these two great sides. 6-4 at half-time. Worrying, though, for Brian McDermott. It's 80 full minutes now since his men have crossed the whitewash, but they've gone close on 1 or 2 occasions in that first half. We've been watching the 2 most successful clubs in the summer era. This could have been a try, but for Brent Webb, frustration for Roy Simmons. They got over in the end, though, courtesy of Graham. 6-4.
Brew sponsors Super League on Sky Sports.
Our next appointment, and let's hope the sun is shining in Halifax on Sunday. You'll say Halifax? Why? Because it's Huddersfield against Castleford. Well, Huddersfield are playing at the Shea for the next 3 home games. It's a 5:30 kick-off or a 5:30 start with us on HD2. Huddersfield, Castleford, 2 of the top 8. That's Sunday. This is now a glorious evening here in Widnes, the temporary home of the Saints, who lead by 6 points to 4 at half-time against the Leeds Rhinos. Just the 1 try, that's scored by James Graham. A couple of goals from Sinfield, the 1 from Foster. Roy Simmons talking to his players. Look at the completion rate for St Helens, up to 95%. That's tremendous. By the way, that chat that the referee was having with James Graham and Kevin Sinfield, he was apparently saying it's just getting a little bit tasty out there. And he's asked his 2 representatives to go to their players and just ask them to keep a lid on it. Well, the one worry for Brian McDermott is that they haven't scored a try in 80 minutes of rugby league now. We've had the one from James Graham, and John, what else have you got for us?
Thanks, Eddie. Well, all the early pressure applied by the visiting side, but penalty goals were the only reward, and perhaps because of defence like this, Gaskell telling his man to go out to the winger and then had to make a try-saving tackle. Look at it from the low angle. Here's Smith, thinks he's going to score. Gaskell manages to keep Smith and the ball up in time to get him over the dead-end goal line. And then Gaskell again, this time on attack. Here he is there. Sees Ryan Hall, the winger, on the fourth tackle, up in the line. Ryan Hall realises, but too little, too late from that man. Webb a long distance to cover. And a great 20 to relieve the pressure. Lots and lots of early Leeds pressure inside. Well relieved there. And then a smart works play. Golden opportunity, really, for St Helens. Roby locked at the scrum. Two Leeds players on the short side. Roby's movements and Shenton's line create the extra man for the hooker. He bursts upfield, and he has Mackison on the inside. Great run by him. He looks for all the money in the world to be scoring underneath the post, but for a try-saving tackle from Webb. Look at his left hand there. Fantastic try-saving tackle. But James Graham did spare James Roby's blushes later, and it was Delaney. Look at Delaney now on the bottom of your screen. That is the first time that he spots James Graham. Now watch him. He's back at the play, the ball. Distracted, too distracted. Lets Graham through for a try. And as I said, to spare Roby's brushes. Then Roby didn't score himself, but saved 6 points. Wellens is committed at this point. Sinfield on the sticks. Roby there to save a try. As we said, probably bombed a golden opportunity to score for themselves, but then redeemed himself right at the end of the half. Really, really tight half of football. I spoke to Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook earlier today, Eddie. He said that in the build-up to this game, St Helens were completely focused on the defence. And I tell you, from that evidence in the first half, you can see why.
You can. The defence is both on top, to be fair. Just the one breach by James Graham. Only 2 points in it, Brian. I couldn't pick a winner, could you?
No, I'm not sure I could either. We've seen pivotal people, Roby, then McShane makes a break and gets an assist from Phil Bentham, does James Roby in the defensive play to stop there. But John alludes to that point that McCarthy-Scarsbrook, Saints look very, very vigorous in defence. Leeds are as well. The two teams here that are desperate for the win, and it might be a kick play, it might be the bounce of the ball that separates these two teams at the end of the day. We
wondered how Leeds would respond to last week's shellacking by Warrington. They've responded very well.
But they do look a little bit nervous, I feel, in attack. It feels to me that they need to stay and build some pressure. They're not quite executing the plays that you normally see Leeds execute there. There's that element of nervousness that they don't want to make mistakes or whatever. But I certainly feel that they've played a whole lot more vigorous. They're going to get forward. They're kicking reasonably well. But the difference might be the 40-20 that we saw Gaskell come. If anybody can find a couple of them with the hot weather and with the way that the teams are looking after the ball, they could be the difference.
Do you think Leeds are a bit nervous because it's gone now so long, 80 minutes since they've last scored a try? 80 minutes plus probably, because they didn't score in the last minute of the first half last week.
Probably to Eddie is the fact that they've not got over the line for a while, and on how to do that. Are people running in the right places? Are they confident they can get over the line? But there are two things that are happening. One is the element of maybe nervousness to execute their plays, and the second is Saints are defending really, really well. When you get to the top 4 or 5 and 6 clubs, they know how to defend their line with a passion and with the kind of desire that we saw Gaskell making the play on Lee Smith early in the game. So it's going to be difficult. They're going to have to be patient, and that's where Leeds have to build a little bit of pressure. If they know they're not going to score on a set, or they can't break the Saints line, then get the ball back again. Because in this weather, the more you make the side defend, the better chance you've got of getting over the line.
I must say, since we were last here, Saints have got used to this place, haven't they? They appear to know their way around now.
It was burning those wicker men on the moors that killed it. It was nothing to do with how they're playing.
You don't think so? Well, we'll see. Listen, there's a great second half to come because there's nothing in it. It's 6-4, that's all. 6-4 to St Helens. Just the one try. A couple of penalty goals from Kevin Sinfield. One try, though, from Saints. Who's going to win it in the second half? And this match is to be won in the next 40. You're in the right place to find out, obviously. start the second half here. This time next Friday we'll be midway through the international origin match. England will face the Exiles at Headingley. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. If you need any other info, give that number a bell. 08 444 777 113. 08 444 777 113, and we'll be with you in HD3 from 7:30. England and the Exiles next week. Plenty of Exiles and Englishmen on show here, and Saints leading 6-4 at half-time. Interesting 40 minutes to come, I think.
Spot on. It's been a classic first 40, wasn't it? Real arm wrestle at times, and both sides having to revert to the kicking game to get through this solid defence. And you just get the feeling that it could sway one way or the other with a bad mistake, maybe a penalty given.
Goal, good.
What a fantastic kickoff again from Foster. Maguire had to reach forward, hit the ground, roll over, and then give it to Peacock. By that time, the St Helens chasers had gone half the length of the field and penned him down.
It really is a special skill, that kickoff. Some guys in the game have got it, and there's a few people that can't quite master it yet. But if you can get it, it can be a fantastic weapon for you. And Jamie Foster is one that has certainly mastered the art.
Kevin Sinfield was inside the 40, but the bounce of the ball brings it back towards the posts. So Foster will run it back once again. By the way, I've been handed the result of the Academy International in Perpignan this evening. France 19, England 28. Hull's Rhys Lynn getting 4 tries. Warrington's Ryan Shaw getting a couple. And talking of Warrington, there was a walk, a sponsored run and a sponsored bike ride left the Royal Borough of Appleton in Warrington today for Wrexham. 38 miles, and they've raised £5,000 for Help for Heroes. Well done to them. Nice chip through by Foster, but I was going to say brilliant defence from Webb. It's the ball.
Can't believe it.
Drop out.
He cannot believe it. Not saying, well, surely someone's knocked it out. I don't think so. I think he just lost total control. It was great work by Jamie Foster. Quick hands, got him away out there on that left-hand side. Put the kick in, did everything right, and then look at this, dropped it. No one near him.
It was dropped in the in-goal area, so it is a goal line dropout. Brent Webb plainly does not agree.
I think what he's complaining about, he perhaps thought that he was obstructed as he was going for that ball. There certainly was a bit of a collision, but nothing that should really bring about a penalty by the official Phil Bentham. And as you said, Eddie, a golden opportunity now. It's Saints have started well. And the one thing I've noticed is that they're wanting to get it out wide very, very quickly.
It was a very good goal line dropout, though, from Sinfield, wasn't it? Look where they start this set of 6 from. Gaskell pops it up again to McGuinness.
Move! Hold!
Roby is scheming again. Finds Soliola. Trying to use the strength to barge past the defenders. Here goes Roby again. Leeds just on the back foot for a moment there. Great ball to Lomax, spins away from one. Peacock gets him down. What a pass! What a try, Roby! What a pass from Lomax! Well, Justin Harris, the Welsh national coach, could not believe that Johnny Lomax was not named in the England squad this week. And he's shown there that he is an Englishman knocking on the door of International Rugby League. OK, Roby scored it, and he was the guy in support, but just look at the skill in a moment.
Well, that was the error, wasn't it, by Brent Webb? The experience from a man that's been around so long, got them in position, but Roby started it, and he finished it. This is great work by Roby. Look at this, puts himself in a position. Never say die attitude. That's what makes James Roby such a talented player. The offload, beautiful there from Scarsbrook. Carthy Scarsbrook, the offload, but he's the guy that started it. And watch him just put himself in a good position. Good work though by Lomax, twisting, bouncing away from 2. I said it could be an error, and it was from the fullback Brent Webb. And this should be easy for this kid.
Well, Foster with the opportunity to add the extras. Boy, they've got some young players here. Foster adds the extra two. Lomax with the pass, Roby with the try. Terry O'Connor is on the sideline with the Exiles coach, I understand. Brian McLennan.
A very excited Brian McLennan. Eddie, what you'd expecting next week from the England side up against the Exiles side? I think there's 6 of your players playing here tonight.
Yeah, expect the England team to be very strong. They picked a very good squad, so when they narrow it down to 18, we know it's going to be a very formidable side.
Will your lads be up for this, up for the game?
Yeah, we will. We're very passionate about representing down under really well, so we can't wait to get in camp. Got 6 of them playing tonight, and they're going fairly well, and we're really looking forward to next week.
And just a word on young Johnny Lomax. He's not made the squad. A good talent for St Helens.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's a wonderful talent, and I think he's in the Knights program. A lot of young, good British talent coming through. And long may that continue.
Thanks for your time, Brian.
No problem.
Great to see him back, Brian McLennan, ex-Leeds coach, of course, and returning to Headingley next week with the Exiles. I bet he's pleased, actually, that Lomax isn't playing.
Well, it's a challenge, isn't it, Johnny Lomax? But the one thing I do know is that Brian will be taking this very, very serious indeed.
Well, I was watching Johnny Lomax warm up before the game, and it's funny sometimes. You look at a team and you don't take a lot of notice what they're doing. But I was very, very switched on about Johnny Lomax with the footwork he was doing, the evasion skills, the hit and spin. And when you look at the try that he was involved in with an assist for James Roby, all those skills came to fruition. And it's players like Johnny Lomax that make you really pleased to know that there is a future here for a number of young players. And unfortunately with Johnny, of course, he's not been able to string a lot of games together this year. He's had fairly serious injury. But I think it's the second game back tonight, and he looks in great touch.
He does, and of course he came of age, made his mark at scrum half in the win at Leeds in March. He was just given everybody of the talent that he is. In here. Well, Haraki felt the full weight of that, and St Helens have suddenly got their tails up at the start of this second half.
Certainly are. Look how they're getting out of the blocks, and that's great work from Roby. Tireless, it's gone back.
Well, I don't know how on earth Phil Bentham has wiped the tackle count down there. It just hit James Roby on the head, didn't it?
Well, I think James Roby has launched himself. No, he hasn't. He's well and truly on the ground. I thought he'd launched himself.
Now Leeds have a penalty. Brian, sorry.
Just to clear up that rule, he's made an attempt to go to the ball to try and kick it down. So that's deemed as kick pressures, deemed that he's in play. If the ball hits him, deemed he's played it.
Fair enough.
And he's turned. He's turned on the ball, which also indicates he's played at the ball.
Wilkin not happy with that decision either.
Well, it won't help his side doing things like that and looking at the official Phil Bentham. Lack of concentration, get on with it, okay. Knocking around at the play the ball area, give away the penalty.
Maybe he's frustrated with himself as much as he is with the fact that the penalty decision came. Leeds on the front foot here with Sinfield. It's a short ball away. Peacock couldn't release the pass. McShane will have a scamper. Another good young talent this fellow is as well. Paul McShane, he's only 21. He was unlucky to miss out on selection last week.
Well, that was amazing. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, St Helens players had him stopped, and then he joined in and nearly put the hooker over the line.
Maguire slips but takes tackle number 5, bang under the St Helens posts. McShane fires it back to Sinfield. He dabs the kick in, bouncing everywhere. Went behind the dead ball line, much to the relief of the Saints, much to the frustration of Brian McDermott.
And I think this is going to be the pattern for Leeds. They know that it's difficult to get through this very solid St Helens defence. But they really have upped the gear as far as I'm concerned, Brian.
But the kick is 10 metres too long. It's not 1 metre just over the line. It needs to land just before the line.
Salford leading Wakefield 22-16 now at the Willows. New coach in place, of course. We'll see him eventually.
That was a mile forward.
It looked it. No shouts this time off the terraces. Play on, McGinn tackled. Here's Shenton. Here's Makinson. Goes inside Ryan Hall. Can't get past him.
Well, that should have been spotted. It was so far forward. Not that the Saints will worry about it. They're getting on with it. They're getting out wide.
Lomax Fires it to Helens. Helens then gets it to Melly, but Melly drops it under pressure.
I'll tell you, the biggest problem now for Leeds Rhinos, and it's really started about 10 minutes before half-time, and it's continued for the next 10 minutes into the second half, is the ease with which St Helens are able to come off their line and make 60, 70 metres in a set of six. They've just lost total control at the moment, Leeds. They've had one attacking raid so far, which has ended up in a kick going dead. They've got to find a way to get back into the game. At 12-4 on the scoreline, they're not out of it, but at the moment, it's all St Helens with the momentum.
Flat pass to Peacock, it was flat. Wallington stretch away at Wrexham, 38-16 there. Here, we've got the best game. And Wella Haraki
did well.
And he
took a huge gamble there.
Even better than finding McShane. Here goes Burrow. And he's collared by Shenton. Last tackle here, so it's the kick from Maguire over the top. And that will run... No, it won't run dead. Yes, it will. On the 14th bounce, it ran dead.
It's amazing what a rugby league ball can do, but...
quick thinking from Foster.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed. Brian McDermott realises that these kicks are not applying the pressure, not giving them chance.
Move! Go!
Oh, did he lose that there, Foster?
Well, he certainly juggled with it.
Move!
Waved away by Phil Bentham. But he's a talent, though, isn't he? Jamie Foster.
Wilkins having a growing influence on this match. He's been at the nub of everything that St Helens have done tonight.
And so is this guy that's just passed the ball, James Roby.
Leeds know all about the offloading ability of Johnny Lomax. That's the last tackle. Go high off the boot from Gaskell. And that skips away. Dead in goal as well.
Well, not the best, is it? And both sides reverting to it, but the skill factor of getting the ball to lie in the in-goal area.
Move!
But a scoreline of 12-4 as he leads it. They really have to come up with something different. Maybe a little chip over the top, but I've been disappointed with the way that the Rhinos attack the dummy runners and the not too many coming on the angle. It's a pretty flat play so far.
In the 54th minute, it will be exactly 100 minutes since Leeds last crossed an opposition try line. It's a concern for the Rhinos because that's the last tackle again here. Webb. So it was manna from heaven for Melly. Sinfield with the kick, and has Melly got the leg on outlet? He has, you know. And Francis Melly goes in for the try for St Helens. Well, Kevin Sinfield's kick was a gift, an absolute gift. You don't often see Sinfield producing those sort of things to the opposition. But Francis Melly just plucked the ball out of the air. Another man in the exile squad for Brian McLennan. A try against Leeds in March. His try won the game against Castleford here on Easter Monday. That was the 150th of his career. And Melly comes up with a vital 4.
Well, there was no power to that kick at all. And Kevin Sinfield will be disappointed with it. It's a long way off December 25th, but that really was a gift, wasn't it? Watch there, there's no power to it. You're going to have a chip over the top. It's obviously a planned move for the centre to come onto it, but look at that. Nothing that Carl Ablett could do about it. And Melly pops it down. Good position as well. Determination. 2 or 3 looks. Anybody there? The answer is no. And Talon's in the ascendancy.
Melly's try, but Kevin Sinfield will be bitterly disappointed with that kick.
Well, the play was to go over Francis Melly's head there. That was the tactic, to play a nice little short dab just over there. Winger going down on the sideline. Let's try something different. Kevin Sinfield just simply got it wrong. And it's hard to criticise someone that often gets things right. But in this situation, it's very costly.
It is. And Foster generally does not miss these.
Time on.
And Foster has not missed that one. It's 18 to Saints.
And And it's a big hole for the Rhinos to get out of it. They'll be a bit disconsolate over the facts, and there as the coach, Brian McDermott, realises that this was not the best kick. Straight into the capable hands of the big fella. Shows a lot of pace as well. He's a big unit, but he knew he had them.
McCarthy Scarsbrook to run this ball back again, but only as far as Jamie Jones, Buchanan, Peacock and Bailey. Graham taking the battle forward again. Delaney's round his cheek.
Well, for the next 10 minutes, Leeds have to really up the tempo. They've got to throw everything. They've got to try and get possession first, but of course they've got to just keep at it. Test their arm. Got nothing to lose now.
Graham again takes it in, tackle number 4.
Wait, go. Good, Ryan.
Wilkin bounces off a couple.
5.
Takes the last tackle, Badiris and Jamie Jones, Buchanan.
Go. Danny!
Roby. And there's the angled kick. Ooh, which almost forced an error from Ryan Hall. His heart must have been in his mouth then. Good kick from Gaskell. Good chase from Gaskell too. They add a lot, don't they, young players? They give you lots of enthusiasm. OK, they're going to make the mistakes now and again, but don't they give you such a buzz to watch them?
Yeah, you're right, Eddie. And you know, sometimes it's forced upon you. You know, Royce Simmons, he realises that he's got so many of his stars injured. No option but to just give these youngsters a go, and they haven't let him down. Not at all.
I reckon we spend a lot of time talking about young players and mistakes they make because of their inexperience, but you know what? A lot of senior players make mistakes too, don't they? And it's just a game where mistakes are often forced. It's very hard to play a perfect match.
Well, you mind us only go back to Brent Webb, no one near him, and he dropped the ball right on his own goal line.
And yet, we spoke at the start of the game about that wonderful ankle tap, and you know, it's the highs and lows, isn't it? It's about centimetres, it's about fractions of a second in this business, and that's what you'll see it over the entire 80 minutes.
Just to reinforce what everybody's saying, I think it's the energy that the young people give to the rest of the lift teams. You know, it's like putting jump leads from a bat, another on a tiring battery. It just gives the lift because they come up with such enthusiasm, the strength of their carries and the vigour that they bring to the game.
I'm just wondering whether Royce Simmons will be tempted to throw Kyle Eastman into the fray here. We haven't seen him yet, have we? And there's been a couple of injuries, but so far, Eastman has been left sitting on the bench. Great ball from Lomax to Wellens. Here goes Melly again. Melly has got Lomax, and Lomax is going in under the post for St Helens. Well, you couldn't replace Lomax with Eastman at the moment. There's no doubt about that. Johnny Lomax, and how about the burst of speed from Francis Melly as well? Only his second try at the season. Well, that's what our captain said. I thought it was his 5th try of the season, but we'll see.
Wonderful play there by Francis Melly. Wellens just links in at the full-back position, and he knew exactly what he had to do. Both back on the inside. The Leeds defence completely shattered, in no strong position. 2 men going for 1 man. As soon as they offloaded, he knew who was in there, Lomax. Melly's having a tremendous night. And the coach, Royce Simmons, enjoyed that.
As did that man. It is his 5th try of this Super League season, Johnny Lomax, 20 years of age. His time will come at international level, I think, don't you, Brian?
Oh, it should. You know, maybe his time should have been this next week, but it isn't. But his time will come.
Let's keep him dry for the 4 Nations.
Absolutely, and reinforce what Sean's saying. The Saints are getting out of their half far too easily when Leeds have kicked out. It's been a poor kick, or they've won the ground and run. When they ran, they had numbers there defensively, Leeds, but the speed of the play, the ball completely bamboozled them. The quality of pass and initially made the break, and the finish from Lomax was sensational.
And the wonderful thing, as far as Royce Simmons, the coach, would be happy, is that the way that Wellens just comes in chimes. You know, he was struggling early in the season, Paul Wellens. He's found that star quality again, and the shake of the head from Brian McDermott says it all. Not the best field position. They've gone for the short one, and they haven't made it. That'll be a penalty to Saints. More pressure for the Rhinos. Brent Webb having a right-all go at Phil Bentham, saying, well, it went over and then the wind blew it back. Not so sure.
No wind tonight. Did it go over the 10-metre in the air? Well,
tell you what, he may have a point.
He might have, but it's inconclusive, isn't it?
Yeah. And he's a man with a whistle.
Hold.
There's frustration for Leeds here. There really is.
And you talk about the fact that we haven't seen the likes of Kyle Eastman, Eddie. What a great bonus it is for the likes of Roy Simmons to say, OK, I'll throw him on the last 10 minutes, perhaps.
The point I was making is you can't really take Johnny Lomax off for it. Oh, hang on. Soliola gets the ball away. Scott Moore. Oh, it's like deja vu for Leeds. They've been taken to the clean-up in the second half again. He will be delighted, Roy Simmons. I'm not sure Brian McDermott will. They are cutting Leeds open with ease at the moment. And every try is coming behind the sticks. Scott Moore back after 5 since a substitute appearance against Castleton on Easter Monday. He marks his return with another try.
They went for the short kick, didn't come off. Official said it didn't carry the 10 from that position. We've had Melly on that left-hand side cutting into ribbons. Now it's Soliola. The offload was superb. Scott Moore said, I'll finish it off right in front of the sticks. Great work. And good work from Lee Gaskell. He's been steering the ship very, very well indeed. The two combination of Gaskell and Lomax, the half-back pairing. There's the man that finished it off. Surely this man will add the extra 2. And it looks very much like Leeds are staring down the barrel of a huge defeat.
Foster adds the extras. There's a top 4 breakaway developing here. Leeds began the night 5th and 3 points adrift. 1, 2, 4 tries. And Brian McDermott's men have got no answer to this at the moment. 30 points to 4. There'll be a 5-point gap tonight between Leeds and the top 4. It's not the end of the world, but it's a massive, massive deficit to make up.
Certainly is, and they realise it as well. Brian McDermott, the Rhinos coach, fully aware that they needed a good, solid win to give them the lift and the wherewithal and the belief that they can get and mix it with the big boys. But I'm afraid this second half, and I made the point early, Sean, in regards that St. Helens, they didn't want an arm wrestle this second half. As soon as they restarted, they wanted to swing it out wide, and they have just ripped them apart on either centre.
Yeah, they have. They've landed in good position. I don't think Leeds have controlled the tackle very well. They've certainly not controlled the air nor the floor, although there's an example where they have, and you will appreciate it's a very slow play, the ball. Therefore, you can come forward, you can put pressure on, even though it's a last play option. It's a good kick from Lee Gaskell, but that just hasn't happened enough. And Leeds now, they're coming from this position, have made too many mistakes. They've just made too many errors and put themselves under unnecessary pressure.
Hold, go.
Well, Brent Webb is having a real conversation with Phil Bentham.
2.
There'll only be one winner there.
Hold, go.
Well, we saw it last week against Warrington. You know, things weren't going well for them. And quite a few of the players, experienced players as well, thought that it was their turn to have a little natter with the referee. And Brian McDermott was furious about it last week. He'll have the same things to say tonight.
Kadira's pops it up. Kylie Luluai. Last tackle.
Hold, Saints.
Now,
hold, go.
How good is the kick this time? Burrow drills it into the ground, but it's straight to Wellens, who gives it to Makinson.
Move! And hold, go. Straight up, Ali, come on.
Wellens again.
2, move! And wait, go.
Roby, Scott Moore.
3.
This is better from Leeds. Oh, dear.
Second though, get a second go, Kyle Luluai. Sheer frustration.
What on earth did I say? Well, and then he knocked the ball out.
Well, it's an example of what I was saying. Scott Moore saw a little hole, he went through it, he got an offensive win, and then Kylie Luluai's had another go. And you just can't do that. That's good.
1. Move! Got him there. Hold.
Well, now we have I'm having a little chat, saying that.
There we are. It's chatting. No, it's chatting by Brent Webb that has cost Leeds 15 metres. It's dissent from Webb.
And he should bring the captain over. Bit of a word in his ear. It's the lack of discipline is a huge concern for Brian McDermott.
They're frustrated with themselves, they're frustrated with the referee. It's a great offload again.
Once again, James Roby, he's been magnificent.
Moore and Gaskell finds Soliola. Good job that Haraki and Lautiti were there. Roby again scampers in. Lomax, still.
Move. Wait, go for.
Roby this time, thought about going himself. Oh, the pass comes off, and it's Helens. Well, when you're on top of your game, things like that come up for you. When you're struggling, passes like that, as we saw in the first half for Leeds, at exactly the same angle in front of the post, it just doesn't happen. Paul Helens with the latest St Helens try. He got a try at Leeds in March, he's got a try here tonight. 7 for the seasons for Helens.
Silly play by Kylie Luluwai, then added to it 10 metres further down. A little bit of a chat from Brent Webb. Been very vocal, hasn't he, the Leeds full-back, and they've paid the price. Some went out, some stayed around. Wilkin took the gamble, and Helens gleefully accepts. They just don't know what's hitting them, Leeds. They do not know where to position themselves. They quick play the ball, quick hands, and what about the final pass from John Wilkin? To be fair, when you're running hot, Brian, it's difficult to stop, isn't it?
Well, it was a pure speculator because he didn't know that Helens was there, but there were 3 white shirts there, so a fair chance of making the play happen. He knew that somewhere, so he used the force. He used his Jedi magic and threw the ball out. Stuck with Helens to finish.
But when you are running hot, things happen. And there's no doubt Saints are running hot. Now then, Foster, Jamie Foster. And he had the extras. Yes, he can. 36-4. Well, what can you say to Leeds, to their coach, to their fans, to their players?
He's disappointed, and I'm sure all the fans who've travelled over the Pennines certainly will be of the same feeling. He knows that he's been taken apart in this second half.
Well, it happened last week, didn't it, which is a worry for him.
Well, they've played 2 of the better sides in the competition, haven't they? But I agree with you, it is a worry, and I think one of the real issues for Brian McDermott, what he might be thinking, is the fact that, you know, we've not helped ourselves in any way, shape or form. We're our own worst enemies in many respects. So discipline is obviously an issue that he needs to consider, and some of his players probably need to talk about and be honest about. Put their hand up and be honest with each other.
But another real factor has been the fact that some of the Leeds defenders, some are moving up, some are hanging back. You can't have a dog's back leg, can you? You've got to make sure that you go as a unit.
Well, something's happened there. Leeds have come up with the ball, courtesy of Kylie Luluwai. It must have been a ball steal, that. So this has put them on the front foot here.
Oh, mate, hold. Go.
Yeah, 2 in the tackle.
Well, I think he got it away just before Bailey joined in.
Well, you wouldn't begrudge Leeds a little bit of good fortune. The next week they play Hull Kingston Rovers, by the way, at Headingley, and Hull KR have beaten Leeds the last 3 meetings, so it doesn't get any easier for the Leeds Rhinos. Delaney, they keep it going to the end though. Delaney, again the pass goes to ground, picked up by Jamie Jones-Buchanan, and he gets the ball down. It's a try here for Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Well, he had a bit of a pop then at the St Helens crowd, I think, behind the sticks there. But Jamie Jones-Buchanan, I told you they wouldn't give it up, and you wouldn't begrudge them a little bit of good fortune. And maybe it was a 2-on-1 steal. Phil Bentham saw it the other way, and Jamie Jones-Buchanan comes up with the try.
Well, here's a steal. Let's see. Yeah, I think he gets it just before Bailey makes contact. So good play by Phil Bentham. Second effort. Good work by Brett Delaney, and he took his opportunity well. Good positioning by the official. Well, it's mere consolation. Surely they'll add the extra 2 points. At 36-10, Leeds, no, they've no real chance of getting back. Will he do it?
Yeah, a few moments ago he did. Sinfield added the extras. But Jamie Jones, I think, said something to the crowd behind the post. They weren't happy. Phil Bentham had just a quiet word in his ear. Frustrated, obviously, Leeds. Desperately disappointed. But the first try they've scored for a while, that. 54 minutes, it was going to be the 100th minute, so that's 114. I can do maths. Hang on, I can do some maths. Only simple adding up, you understand.
Don't look surprised, Eddie. I've
hold, go.
Another brilliant kickoff. Yes, from Jamie Foxx. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, he was unlucky that didn't hit and go out, but Leeds have got a little bit of respite here anyway, and an opportunity to get down to about the halfway mark and restart their set of 6.
Yeah, not the best, was it, from Scott Moore?
Here's the kickoff. Just look where it lands. Indian goal, and all right, an element of luck because it bounced back the other way, but it was terrific for length, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly confused the youngster, Zach Hardacre. And I think you'd have to say that Roy Simmons realises that these youngsters that he's had to blood, he's had to bring them through because of injury problems, that they really are fighting for their position, not just as a part-time situation, but for a long term, and it looks as though Eastman will get the last 10 minutes.
Yes, he's preparing to come on by the looks of things over on the other side. As Badiris takes it forward, gives it to Sinfield. Here's Jamie Jones Buchanan. Badiris again, at a scamper, and gives the ball then infield to Ryan Bailey, who hasn't scored in 4 years. So close, Badiris, that's played at. Did it go backwards? No, it's a knock-on. Shenton.
Yeah, they'll get head and feed, will the Rhinos. Well, Shenton surely must have been offside. I don't think he's that quick. Look at that, he was 5 metres once the ball was being passed. Could have been a penalty. Never mind the scrum down.
Hey, he's quick, Ryan, he's quick.
I think they'd bring that back in the Olympic final, wouldn't they?
Here's a chance for Leeds with Webb, and to Lee Smith, and Smith gets over for another Leeds try. Well, credit them, they're coming back. They're having a go, they're having a dig at Saints. It's a long, long way back, 36-14 now.
The lack of concentration in defensive line, which has up to now been pretty good. You can see there that Shenton had come away from the line ever so quickly. Couldn't pull it in, and from the resulting scrum, it was good work. Nice play, the combination from the fullback Brent Webb comes on the angle, pulls in Shenton. No one was going to stop him. That's a good try, well worked.
And they're showing what they're capable of, aren't they?
A little bit too late, I feel, for the coach, Brian McDermott, but yeah, he'll pick the bones out of this one somewhat. Oh, what a great kick.
Wonderful kick from Kevin Sinfield. 36-16. Something for them to shout about, but a little bit late, they will say. And he will certainly agree with them.
It's always difficult for a coach, Brian, to assess when you score late tries, when you know the game is gone. Does it go through your mind? Do you think, well, is it because of the opposition have gone down a gear or two, or is it just your guys have lifted?
I think it's an element of both. You see Roy Simmons there, his face tells the pitch that he's really disappointed with the defense. You have to say for 60 minutes, Saints have defended really well and carried the ball really well. Leeds have had a couple of breaks in respect of penalties and errors from St Helens, got to the right end of the field, and the amount of talent in this Leeds team, they are going to score some points.
Hold, go.
And here they come again, trying to run the ball away from their own line.
Go. Discipline, lads, come on.
This is Burrow. Away to Webb. To in turn finds Smith. Here goes Ryan Hall.
3, move, hold, go.
Badiris again. It's with Sinfield, Jamie Jones Buchanan.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it, when it appears that all is lost.
4, move.
Leeds have up the tempo, and they're doing
hold,
run-arounds,
go,
running on the angle that we didn't see in the first 60 minutes.
But he's lost that. Oh, and Ryan Hall pulled the man back. Makinson.
I think he's just take the first knock on, but there certainly was interference, wasn't there? Just couldn't hang on to it.
He drops it, blames me.
Nothing malicious. Just a tickle round the throat, perhaps, or maybe a little bit.
Right in there.
St Helens head and feed with 7 to go. And Roby again.
1,
Salford have won that one against Wakefield, I think, 34-12. And I think Warrington have won at the Crusaders as well. 56-16, last time we heard.
Hold, go.
Pulatua.
3, move. Wait, lads, wait, go. 3.
It's been a late rally from Leeds.
4.
But Saints will be eager to get the scoreboard ticking again.
Hold.
Conceded those 2 tries, and it will not be pleasing their coach, Roy Simmons, but will certainly make up for it if they can produce some magic. And they have done that. Oh, is that a lost carry?
Yes, it is. And Leeds are energised enough to make their way quickly to this scrum.
I get the impression that Mr. Wilkin not happy.
Boys. Hey, James. Michael here, come on.
Well, a little bit of a rub of the green again for Leeds, perhaps.
Put it in. Out.
And here goes Delaney once more.
1, move.
Last 6 minutes.
Hold, lads, hold, go. 2.
Charge
move.
forward by Lauatiti.
Wait, lads, wait, go.
And Sinfield. Back it goes.
No, I still got it this
once again to Ryan Bailey. Reisman's after him. And Reisman gets him
move.
down.
Stuck to him, didn't he?
Go.
A little smile then. Badiris tries to bounce Eastman out of the way.
4.
It was little and large, wasn't it?
Hold.
Really going into it.
McShane to Burrow.
A little bit of spite just creeping in these past few moments. Did well there, Ryan Hall.
He did, Ryan Hall. He came back and retrieved a seemingly impossible situation. That could have been an obstruction as he ran round the back of Bailey. He's lost the ball anyway. Moore has dropped on it for Saints.
Sinfield lost control.
Hold.
Mainly due to the impact. The one thing that Saints have done tonight is that they've really kept Leeds from getting the ball out wide. The likes of Lee Smith and Brett Delaney and the 2 wingers, Hardacre and Ryan Hall, never had many opportunities to handle it and get through the break.
You're right, Steve. I think that Leeds, if they've been guilty of anything tonight, I think they probably started by playing a little lateral, and they didn't go. I don't think they went forward enough early on in the game to assert some authority and dominate. And I think that's kind of been the effect that it's had on the way they've started. And I think that's why St Helens were able at one stage to get a lot of momentum in this game.
Well, I'm not one for stats, but I must say, oh, that's a beautiful kick into the corner. Can I get to it? Oh, well worked there, Ryan Hall.
Yes. He jumped from the field of play. It's a goal line dropout.
Pressure kick.
He's absolutely spot on, Phil Bentham, with that.
Yeah. The point I was trying to make, Eddie, is that St Helens, they've made 13 clean breaks, as against only 3 from Leeds tonight. And that tells its own story, doesn't it?
It does, but Ryan Hall has come up with that. That's a good play from Kevin Sinfield. It's shallow goal line dropout. Well, they're showing a lot of enterprise towards the back end, but the tragedy is it's all happened
too late.
They went 36-4 down.
Yeah, far too late, and not the time to get the tempo going. That looks slightly forward. Brought into the crowd here.
Well, they shouted for everything tonight.
Yeah,
Any flat pass has been forward in their view.
And they thought it was about a mile forward. Oh, did well there, didn't he? Brent Webb.
He got away with it.
4. Move. Go. 4.
Here's Sinfield again, and that's straight into the arms of Pulatua.
1, move! Hold, go, well back.
Here's Gaskell, Shenton.
2, move! Hold, lads, hold.
Moore, who has crowned his comeback with a try.
3.
Good to see Andrew Dixon back out there. He was flat out and concussed early in the piece.
3.
Moore to Graham. Pulatua.
4, move!
Quick on that blind side, maybe give the chance for Eastman to go into the corner.
Lomax finds Wellens. Wellens almost gets it away. Does to Lomax. It's a penalty here to Saints. Pulled back off the ball.
Pull back behind the ball, fellas. On the line. Back up, mate.
I'm not so sure.
Back up. Go.
Got to give a fair amount of credit as well to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. I think he's worked very hard indeed, and on a losing side.
Go.
Moore. Gaskell.
2, move! Line, go, 2.
Here's Scott Moore again.
I don't think the big fellow was expecting that. Pulatua. Oh, was it my ball? Big fancy there from Scott Moore.
Well, 36-16, but still room for improvement, perhaps.
It always will be by Roy Simmons.
Well, he'd be expecting him to score there. He would have expected in the last minute and a half that St Helens would put some points on, and they may still do. They may get the ball back, but that'd be the disappointment in the fact that they got that close to the try line, and they should be executing plays, no matter whether it's a minute and a half to go or a minute and a half into the game. Regardless of scoreline, you still need to execute your plays and make sure you play out your sets and continue to build pressure.
Wait. Go, careful.
Very last minute of the match here. Oh, Sinfield has gifted another. This time to Lee Gaskell. It has been a night that Kevin Sinfield will want to forget. Named in the England squad this week as the possible standoff half. Brian McDermott knows and Kevin Sinfield knows he's gifted at least 2 St Helens tries. The latest to Lee Gaskell, and that seals the Saints' victory.
Well, I think it's a bit different, Eddie, when you're on the losing team, because you need to chance your arm a little bit. Long ball, Lee Gaskell reading that very, very well and coming up and taking a perfect intercept. There we go again. Long ball to Danny Badeiras to Kevin Sinfield. Kevin Sinfield trying to find Ali Lautiti, and Lee Gaskell said, I'll have a piece of this, and go under the post with relative ease. Took it well, read it well, deserved the try. Had a terrific game, Lee Gaskell.
Yes, he has. He and Lomax, it's a developing partnership, isn't it? It's a work in progress. And poor old Kevin Sinfield, he is the most consummate professional. He will have hated every minute of those 2 gifts. And, well, Brian McDermott, with not too much to smile about, defeat by 42 points to 16. Second week in a row they've conceded 40 plus. Jamie Foster's goal compounding the agony for the Leeds Rhinos coach. Well, they're now 5 points off the top 4. And there's a little breakaway group, isn't there, developing at the top of the Engage Super League?
Yeah, there is, and Leeds have got a lot of hard work to do, haven't they, with a couple of losses now by big score lines back against 2 very good sides, Warrington and St Helens. But I think tonight, Eddie, the game for me was won and lost in that period, 10 minutes before half-time and the start of the second half. St Helens got some momentum, even though the scoreline at half-time was only 6-4. But St Helens went in the better team for me, and they came out and started a lot better. Leeds couldn't quite handle that. And St Helens got the momentum, were able to put some points on, and Leeds after that, it was just catch-up time for them, and made error after error, and it just built more and more pressure on them, and St Helens took advantage and scored some wonderful tries here tonight. They were very, very good tonight, and there's a lot of players out there that would be worthy man of the match.
Well, Brian McDermott is a man alone with his thoughts at the moment. And John Wilkins got a shiner to go with the victory. It's the 8th successive home win in the league and cup. is our man of the match. He's talking to Terry O'Connor.
Johnny, another outstanding performance by you. Man of the match, there's your bottle of champagne. What is it with you when you play against Leeds? It always seems to bring the best out of you.
Well, I don't know. Everyone, the best came out of everybody today. I thought Gaskell was tremendous today. His kicking game was ridiculous. It takes a lot of pressure off me in that department.
Was the conditions really tough for you tonight? Because it was very hot, wasn't it?
Warm-up was pretty ridiculous, to be honest. It's like sweating non-stop, but in the end, like we knew it was going to be an 80-minute performance, and that's the way it was. We knew we had to go for the full 80.
What about the second half performance? What did Roy Simmons say to you at half-time? You were 6-4 in front, your defence on your try line was outstanding, but in the second half you really upped the tempo.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, obviously the defence was massive for us. We hung in there, and he said eventually the tide would turn, and it did, and we took our chances. We're pretty clinical.
You've got £100 to donate to the charity of your choice. Where's it going to go to, Johnny?
Same as last time, True Rehab. It's brain injury awareness charity.
Well done, Johnny. Congratulations on a good performance. Next, we've got John Wilkin. John, what about these outstanding youngsters you seem to have at St Helens? They always seem to turn it on for you.
They do, yeah. We've got some great young kids in the team. It's a result of maybe the injuries what we've had have given a few boys opportunities to play at the top level, and you look at players like Johnny Lomax and Lee Gaskell, they've certainly took their chance, and probably more impressively for me is that they've been out with medium-term to long-term injuries and come back into the team and produced a performance like they have tonight, and for me that's more impressive than anything really.
Thanks for your time, John.
Well, a comprehensive victory for St Helens in the end. This is the way it has ended. 42 points to 16, 8 successive home league and cup wins now for the Saints. John Wells didn't have many tries to talk about in the first half. He's got plenty to talk about now.
I did a breathless start to the second half. We're going to start with Webb's error. There he is at the bottom of your screen. Lovely pass from Melly to his wingman Foster. Webb does all the right things here, tracks in, gets his body between him and Foster, the oncoming player. Ball bounces kindly for him, but then inexplicably doesn't secure the pass, puts his side under pressure. This led to the first try from James Roby. Roby starts and finishes this move. Puller to his line, attracts Bailey. Bailey's come in. Gaskell is there in the pocket in behind. Gaskell brings Ablett in, and Ablett brings Delaney in. Offload, lovely offload there, but we're tracking Roby now. Watch this pass from Lomax. Fantastic. Roby crosses for the opening try of the second half. Then Leeds hit the self-destruct button. This was Melly's try, and it came from an unlikely source in Kevin Sinfield. Not had the best of games today. An errant kick, that's who he was looking for at the top, Zach Hardacre. That's who we ended up with in Francis Melly. Poor kick, ball over the top, and once you give this man some space, there's only one outcome. Going to be starting for the Exiles, I think, next Friday. Certainly a top-class performer and has been for many, many years. Then a smart piece of play from Lomax led to his own try. A late retreat from Delaney. Lomax has spotted it. Delaney defends 3 in from the right. He's pulling people across. There's Badiris, a very late retreat. And Bailey switching across the ruck at the last minute. Not in time, though, because Sinfield's not had the call from the inside, and he's sucked into that play. Front runner from Wilkin. Great pass on the outside. And once in some space, they've always got people supporting up the middle. Lomax there to cross underneath the sticks. He's had an outstanding game in conjunction with Gaskell, who we'll come to later. Leeds no answer at this point. This is the Moore try, but it's a Soliola contribution I want to look at. First of all, there, Soliola, look at these feet. Fantastic, beats Lee Smith. And then the pass, the try-scoring pass to Moore. Again, another try underneath the sticks, all converted incidentally by Foster. Then descent from Webb put the Leeds back on their own line again. This is Wellens. Watch this pass again from Wilkin. They're playing with some real confidence now. Well taken by Wellens and dragged in. Leeds did manage to post some points. Their first of the game, this from Jamie Jones-Buchanan. And it was Delaney, I think, we'll credit with this. A mazy run. Was a loose pass at the end of it, but there's Jamie Jones-Buchanan at the top of your picture. Doesn't switch off, takes the ball, spins in the tackle and does well to ground. Leeds hinting at a fight back here. Another try notched 2 minutes later. This was a miscommunication from Saints. I was trying to work this out. Leeds 3 on the short side. Saints 5 on the open, which should leave 1 on the short, but there isn't. There's an extra man. Saints have only put 5 in the scrum. Didn't matter, though. Even with 3v2, which is effectively what it became, they couldn't stop Lee Smith from scoring. But then, to put a bit of gloss on it at the finish, came the Gaskell try. Long ball intercepted by Gaskell. Great try for him. Captain memorable night for him. 42-16 in the final score. Absolutely outstanding from St Helens today.
Yes, they were in the second half, John. You're absolutely right. 42-16. Not a happy night for the Leeds.
No, they've
It's short again in relation to a top team. Give credit to Saints. I thought they were fabulous in the second half, got themselves in the game with a few breaks in the first half, really close. Leeds scoring points by penalties, wanted to keep the game tight, and it was broken open from the Sinfield kick, and then some 10-minute spell of Saints play they were on fire, everything stuck, and I think that Puliatua and Soliola add so much to this team, with Graham and Roby probing and Wilkin having a super game tonight, and then we had Gaskell and Lomax and all these young kids, and I just think that they were on fire, and they were never going to be beaten tonight at St Helens, were they?
They didn't look like it, did they? And of course, we made the point in commentary, Steve, when you're flying high and things are going well for you, the little offloads, the flicks, all the tricks in the trade, they all stick.
Yeah, but I think the first half, St Helens realised that they had to roll the sleeves up. They did some very good work in their forwards, but when they restarted, they just switched to different play. They got the ball out wide, and this is where the combination, of Gaskell and Lomax is quite superb. In as much that, this Gaskell, you don't sort of see him out there on the field of play, but he's doing very solid things. The little short pass, sometimes the pass on the inside, but he gets the three-quarter line going, and when you've got so much power out wide, the result is always going to be what we've seen tonight.
And this little breakaway has developed, hasn't it? Leeds in 5th and 5 points off the pace. A lot of time still left, much water to run under the bridge, but 5 points is a significant gap at this stage.
If you're jockeying for those top spots, I think if you're a realist and you recognise where you're at with your team and how they're playing, I think form is a more important indicator for all the current top 8 at the moment. The top 4 are playing pretty well. We're seeing that in their scorelines. They're flogging teams, aren't they, basically? The rest have to get themselves in a position towards the latter end of the competition to make sure that they're in form. And we've seen it all through the year. If you're in form at the right time of the year, you've a chance to win this competition. It's a tougher ask. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But you cannot fixate yourself on where you are in the league ladder. You've got to really look at your performance and look at where you're going. Saints around the ruck tonight were fabulous. That's what they're really good at. Roby and Moore and the other people that they put in there. Once they recognise you're outnumbered and you suck the defence in and around the middle, they know the space on the fringe, and the quality of the skill and their execution was fabulous.
And remarkable that despite all of their injury problems this year, they're still in for.
You never ever decry them any chance. People said they'd struggled this year, and they did at the start of the season. But, as you say, with these young kids there, they'll be there and thereabouts when it comes to the business end.
They will indeed, and we will be in Halifax on Sunday when Huddersfield come to town at the Shea. Huddersfield Giants against the Castleford Tigers. We're with you 5:30 on HD2. That is our next appointment after we have finished here. And we'll be finished here in around about half an hour or so, because the Super League Extra Time programme is on the way. If you press those red buttons now, I do think we have the tries coming from Salford and Wakefield as well as a little bonus. We'll talk to the two coaches. I think it'll be a tale of two coaches tonight. From all of us for now, we'll see you at the other side of the break. Roby, it's to Graham! Great ball to Lomax, spins away from one. Peacock gets it down. What a pass! What a try, Roby! Simpson with the kick, and has Nelly got the leg on Ablett? He has, And Francis Nelly goes in for the try for the Helens. Soliola gets the ball away. Got ball!
More sport, news, views and video on Sky Mobile TV, Sky Player and at skysports.com.